Are you guys ready to thrive? Yes! Who wants to learn how to thrive?
Yes.
Yay! We all do. We all deserve to thrive. And I'm going to find the clicker, and then I'm really going to be able to help you do that. Because I believe in my heart that every single one of you deserves to thrive. Not to just survive, not to just travel through your life, just living. I truly believe that you deserve love and to find your passions and to have meaning every single day of your life. And so that's what we're going to talk about. Okay, today I'm going to talk to you about three things. One, I'm going to share with you my story. I'm going to tell you kind of what I went through and how I got to be where I am today. Two, I'm going to give you specific tips and takeaways, tools that I promise you can start using tonight when you get home. Because I want you to have tools that make you feel empowered, and I'm going to share that with you. And three, I'm going to ask you to do some exercises. We're going to get a little bit out of our comfort zones, but it's going to help you. It'll all be worth it. So, you have cancer. Those were the words I heard when I was 42 years old. As I'm sure many of you can relate to, they came out of nowhere. One day I was living this life that I thought was exactly what I wanted. And the next day I found myself in, a doctor's office, hearing words like mass and 70% chance of it being cancer and Dara, you really need to prepare. I have two daughters, and at the time they were 11 and 14. Let me tell you, there's nothing harder than turning to your 11-year-old daughter and saying the words, "Mommy has cancer." I literally watched my youngest daughter in that one moment, just her whole entire world crashed down. Because my kids had never been through anything like that before. And I had a lot of guilt. Guilt followed me around like my shadow. I felt so guilty. I would look at my daughters and I would think, what am I doing to them? I am causing them so much sadness and anxiety. They were so scared because in that one moment they realized, you know what? Bad things can happen to good people. Shit can happen. And it's really hard to be an 11-year-old girl and have to face that. I went through a lot. I found my cancer by myself. It was, it never showed up on a mammogram. It was the beginning of stage 2. It was triple positive. And I wanted to be as aggressive as possible. So I went through surgery and chemo and radiation and then more surgery. I wanted to have a full hysterectomy. I did genetic testing and nothing ever showed up, but I knew that I needed to figure out a way to make peace with this. And so for me, that was one of the ways that I did it. I was not one of those people who sailed through chemo. Let me just tell you, I popped a nausea pill probably every 6 to 8 hours for 4 months straight. I was laser focused on the side effects. I would go like this and clumps of hair would fall out and I would just sit there and sob about it. I was angry, I was sad, I was depressed. I was trying to help my kids, which obviously I was barely even holding on myself. And so it was an incredibly difficult time for me. And I also saw a lot when I was on that journey. I paid attention to kind of what was going on around me, and I was taking it all in. But when I finally finished, and this is my favorite part, the doctors were like, "Yay, you finished, ring the bell." And my friends, they were all like, "Dara, we're gonna give you a big party to celebrate. You're done with everything." I didn't want to go to a party. The last thing I wanted to do was celebrate, because you know what? That was one of the hardest moments for me. I mean, the chemo and the surgery and the radiation, when I was going through that space, as hard as it was, I was actively doing something. I was actively taking care of all this. And so when they said, "Dara, go back to living your life," I didn't know how to live anymore because I had changed. I wasn't the same person anymore. And I felt really alone. I felt very, very because my doctors could see the thought, my doctors could see what needed fixing. They could see that what needed to have surgery. They could see the place that they needed to do the radiation. They knew all about how to give me chemo. But guess what? They didn't know the thoughts that were going on up here. And let me tell you, it wasn't pretty. They didn't know all of the negative things that I was telling myself every single day. The fear. What if the cancer comes back? The fear of a reoccurrence. How many people have had that fear? Oh my gosh. That is one of the hardest things to make peace with. Because I was thinking, you know what? If cancer showed up one time, who's to say it's not going to happen again? And I wanted my doctor, I wanted my doctor to look at me, and I wanted her to say to me, Dara, you're going to be fine. You're 100% cured, and you're going to live to be 100 years old. I wanted her to tell me that. But guess what? She couldn't do it. And so I had all of these scary thoughts going on in my mind. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to live. Fear, anxiety, stress. I mean, I was consumed with it. I wasn't thriving, trust me. I was barely getting by. I was barely surviving. And again, all my friends and family, they thought, Dara's done, Dara's back. But Dara wasn't the same Dara that she was before. And so I did a lot of work on myself because you know what? I realized I had two choices. Choice number one, I could focus on what might or might not happen. I could stay in that space. I could be scared. I could be fearful. I could tell myself all of those really anxiety-provoking thoughts. Or guess what? I could go to choice number two. I could make peace with what happened to me. I could find my faith. I could learn ways to nurture myself and to help myself as I move forward. So guess what? I chose choice number two. But guess what? Every single one of you, you have the same choice that I had. You have that same choice. You can choose right now. You can choose choice number two. You can choose to make peace with what happened to you and find your peace and find faith and learn how to thrive. And I'm going to show you how. Okay, it's time to let go. We've talked a lot about our thoughts throughout this unbelievable conference. Oh, it's been so delicious. We have talked about so many amazing things, and it's time right now to let go of all of the thoughts that you had in here before you came to this meeting yesterday. It's time to let go, and it's time to own the ability to thrive. So we're going to do two different exercises right now, focusing on the power of our thoughts. So, number one, I want you to turn to page 36 in this workbook. Let me look at my time real quick. One moment. Okay. So I want you to find a partner, okay? It can be someone that you know, someone that you don't know. We all know each other now. Just find a partner. And we're going to go through this exercise, just the first one, the one that says you are a survivor. I want you to really think about what your definition of a survivor is. What does it mean to you to be a survivor? What does that mean? I'll tell you something. After I was done with everything and I was in that space trying to figure out how I was going to get through and make the most of the rest of my life and making that choice, being a survivor really was not a term that I wanted to have. Truth be told, I wasn't very happy about the fact that at the time, I was 42 when I was diagnosed. So I wasn't very happy with the fact that, someone would say to me, oh, you have breast cancer. You're so young. That didn't make me feel very good. And so being a survivor wasn't something that I owned. But guess what? When I owned it, that's where the magic really started to happen. And we're going to own it right now. So walk through this exercise. I'm going to give you about 5 minutes. I want you to allow yourself to be open. Say things that maybe you haven't said before, okay? Be vulnerable. Really talk to your partner, and then I'll circle back with you in about 5 minutes. why don't you join this group, okay?
I like that.
Yeah, you write down your definition and you just talk about it. There's no right or wrong answer. Don't judge yourself. Just listen to mine. Don't think too much about this because a lot of times the initial thoughts we have are the ones that we're meant to focus on.
But I've never found a vehicle called label a word.
Yeah, I don't have a word for what the conflict is.
Warrior. I don't
That's good. That's real nice.
I'm hearing some great conversations and I love it.
Do you think of yourself as a survivor? You take for you to believe you can and will face cancer.
I do believe that I will, and I have some cancer. If it comes back, I have to do it. Do I think I'm still a family? We both have so much fun together. But our husbands, they're going to do it. They're not still. Your boys, my son, my daughter. They hate the house.
Okay, so one of my favorite sayings is,
Okay, we're going to wrap this up. Give yourselves just
How
a
did you
few
get through
more
that?
seconds.
I didn't have a choice.
Put on
With
a
our
big girl
family.
panties, and you just get
Same
them.
with our family. We're not survivors, we're not.
Okay,
This is how
I would like for you to all kind of come back, and I invite you to revisit this later on tonight. Okay, we have a lot more to cover, so I want to get back. But I invite you to revisit this later on tonight. Is there anyone in this room who hasn't before right now really taken ownership of being a survivor? Okay, how did it make you feel?
I just kind of feel like I'm still in it. Like,
Okay.
because I just like incorporated it to my second reconstruction, you know.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
The question was, is there anyone who, this is the first time that you've really owned it, that I'm a survivor?
Yeah, because I
Okay.
kind of feel like I'm still in it, going through finishing radiation just in September, getting my hysterectomy, doing reconstruction in February. So I feel like I'm still in it. So it's like, how do you say you're a survivor when you're just finishing things up? Are you a survivor if you have no disease? What is a survivor?
And that's why that first question was, what does it mean to you to be a survivor? But I'll tell you this, and I totally get where you're coming from. I would say to you today, in this moment, own it. You are a survivor. Think of yourself as a survivor. In fact, I want us to all say it together. On the count of 3, I want you to say the words, I am a survivor. Wait, all right, on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. I am a survivor. Okay, you guys can do better than that.
I'm an awesome survivor.
You are an awesome survivor. You are.
What does it mean to not be a survivor?
What does it mean to not be a survivor? You tell me.
Stay stuck.
Remember those 2 choices, choice number 1 and choice number 2? To me, it means that you're staying in choice number 1, where fear and anxiety are following you around like a shadow every single day, that you're not really living, you're not moving forward, you're stuck in that space. That's what it means to me. It might mean different things to different people.
To me, it means you can be a survivor or a victim.
I love it. You can
We're all
be,
survivors.
yes, you can be a
If
survivor.
you're diagnosed and you're going to take this on, you're a survivor. You are a survivor.
Even if you've had two already, and you might have start another, I'm not going to pay attention to that.
We're not going to pay attention to that. We're going to decide right now. I'm a survivor. In fact, you know what? I think we need to say it again. Let's say it. Scream it. I want the people next door to hear you. On the count of 3, I want you to say it. Feel it. Close your eyes. On the count of 3, I want you to feel it in every single part of your body. 1, 2, 3. You are. Such awesomeness. Okay. Okay, so here's the thing, guys. I'm not naive, okay? I'm not naive. I fully understand that we're not going to just say the words, I think of myself as a survivor now, and any of the scary thoughts are never going to come back, okay? I get that because I have lived it. And so right now, I am going to teach you an unbelievable, powerful tool that I promise you is going to make a huge difference in your life. Now, every single one of you should have received in your bag something that looks like this. Okay? It's an index card. And you know what? You don't even have to pull it out now. You don't have to pull it out now. We're not going to use it now. I want you to know it is not that. It's just a little index card, okay? It's in your bag. If you can't find it, don't freak out. You can use a regular piece of paper. I like index cards a lot, though. Okay, this is what we're going to do. I'm going to teach you how to create your own personal mantra. And this matters. This matters so much. Because when those scary thoughts that are going to come into your head, which they are, I am not naive to think that you're going to walk out of this door and you're never going to have a scary thought again. That's bullshit. Come on. It's going to happen. It happens to me. I'm human. It happens to all of us. So, having a mantra, okay? And it's not a bunch of new age, hokey pokey stuff. Having a mantra is going to be life-changing for you if you let it. So, this is what I did, what worked for me, and I know it'll work for you. Every single time I had a scary thought in my head, what if the cancer comes back? I recognized it, and then I replaced it with something different. Say it with me, the words recognize and then replace. Recognize and then replace. Guys, we can do better. Recognize and replace. Okay, that is so powerful. Pay attention to what's going on up here. We've talked about that all for the past 2 days. But what I want you to replace it with is the powerful tool that you will carry in your pocket every day for the rest of your life. That every time you have a scary thought, you will replace it with your mantra. Now, here's what my mantra was when I was in that space, trying to figure out how to move forward and how to make peace with this and how to cope. I would say to myself, and I would close my eyes, I would say, I am strong, I am healthy, I am cured, and I am blessed. That's what I said to myself. That resonated with me. I want you to come up with your own personal mantra, something that speaks to your heart. It could be a Bible passage. It could be an inspirational quote that you see on Facebook. It could be my mantra. It doesn't matter. Here's the only rule. It has to resonate with you. It's your mantra. It has to speak to your heart. And so once you identify the words that you can replace the scary words with, it's a game changer. So when I first started paying attention to my thoughts, when I was kind of in that space, trying to figure out how I was going to live the rest of my life, and I really started recognizing my scary thoughts, guess what? I was having a lot of scary thoughts. They were coming up throughout the day, but I didn't judge myself. And I don't want you to judge yourself, because it doesn't matter. What matters is you're recognizing them and you're replacing them. You are empowering yourself. Now here's the really cool part. You can sit outside your doctor's office waiting for an appointment. You can go to a scan. You can sit in the waiting room, and guess what? You can close your eyes and you can say your mantra. It's a tool that you can take with you all the time. So here's what you're going to do. I encourage you to do this before Monday morning at 9 a.m. Before Monday morning at 9 a.m. Take the index card, or if you don't have your index card, use a piece of paper and write your mantra down on this card. It's better if it's not too long. Mine was 4 sentences, just 4 simple sentences. It's better if it's not too long because you want to come up with something you remember. It's not going to help you if you can't remember, right? Come on. So over time, when you continuously do this, when you continuously recognize and replace your thoughts with your mantra, you're going to find yourself in this space where I like to call it a relaxation response. You're going to find yourself immediately able to calm your nerves and get out of that space and over into this other space where the magic really happens. You're going to get out of your head, you're empowering yourself, and it works. So write it down, and then I put mine in a picture frame by my bathroom sink. That's what I did when I was in that space. Because guess what? I spent a lot of time in the bathroom by my bathroom sink. And I wanted to be able to see it all the time. So figure out a place that works for you. You know, put it on your refrigerator, put it on your phone, put it on your car, put it in your car. It doesn't matter. This is all about what works for you. But I promise you, this is going to work. How many people here are committed to coming up with a mantra and writing it on a card before 9 a.m. tomorrow morning? Monday morning. I'm so confused. I feel like today's Sunday. Monday morning. How many people are committed to doing that? Awesome. Okay. Now, this is when we get to have a lot of fun. Not that we aren't having fun. We're having so much fun. We are going to talk about creating a self-care practice, okay? I'm going to give you some more tools that you can carry with you in your pocket that you can pull out when you want to give yourself extra love. Now, this is what I fully believe. I believe that you deserve to nurture yourself every single day of your life. That's actually what I believe. And so the things that I'm going to tell you now, I actually do these every single day of my life. And I'm going to share with you a little bit about that in a minute. But listen to some of these self-care tips that I'm going to give you. Because I believe in my heart that we can't thrive, we can't fully live, we can't show up and live our best life if we aren't taking care of ourselves, if we aren't nurturing ourselves, if we aren't putting ourselves first and making ourselves the priority. And so that is what this is designed to do. Number 1, start writing in a journal. Okay, I love it when I ask this question. How many people had a diary when they were a little girl? Dear diary, I like Mike. He's so cute. You know, that kind of thing. Okay, now, how many people write in a journal every single day? Yes, this is what always happens. Somewhere along, for those of you who raised your hand, you get an extra bit of awesomeness. But I promise you, I don't know what happens, but somewhere along the lines, we go from logging our diary up at night to not connecting with our feelings. And so I am here to tell you that writing in a journal is a game changer. I write in a journal every single day of my life, usually 2 times. I write in my journal in the morning, and I write in my journal sometimes before I go to bed. And I'm not writing about what I did today. Today I went to the grocery store. I saw blah, blah, blah. I'm writing about my feelings. I'm writing about how I feel about what is going on in my life. I am connecting to my thoughts. If I have a problem, a lot of times it kind of works its way out. It's amazing how that happens. When you first start to write in a journal, you're going to sit down and you're going to think, I don't know how to do this, or this isn't going to work. You've got to stick with it. But guess what? My journal goes with me everywhere I go. It's in my bag right now. I've written in it twice already since I've been here. I wrote in it when I was on the airplane. It's always with me. It's my friend. It's a place for me to go and work out my feelings. And you can take that journal and you can sit in a chemo room and you can write about how you're feeling. Or you can take it with you when you're going to get a scan and write about how you're feeling. It is unbelievable. A friend of mine always says, you have to do the work. And it's true. You can't get where you want to go unless you do the work. And I can't do the work for you. You have to do it for yourself. But having a journal and connecting to your thoughts every single day is a big part of that. Now, number 2 is having a gratitude journal. How many of you have heard the benefit of living with gratitude? It's a buzzword out there. I think that research is all there that shows that living with gratitude is significant. It matters. Taking the time to acknowledge and count the blessings that you have in your life makes a huge difference. And so what I would like to encourage you to do is to not only write in your journal, but to also take the time and write down 3 things that you're grateful for every single day. Research is on my side here. Research shows that people who take the time to write down what 3 things that they feel good about every single day, even if they're going through a lot of stuff. Believe me, life isn't perfect. We all know that, right? We're going to have ups and downs in our lives. But when we focus on these tools and we learn how to live with these tools, it's going to help you navigate those hard times in life a lot better because you're going to be able to call on all of these self-care practices. So I encourage you, when you're writing in your journal, to just say to yourself, what are 3 things that I'm grateful for right now? And some days you might be having a really shitty day, and you might just say, you know what? I'm grateful to wake up and open my eyes today. Great! Count that blessing, because it is a blessing. When you write in your journal, I always do this, even now. I finish every journal entry with my mantra. Every time I write my journal, I finish it with my mantra. Now, I've changed a lot over the past few years. And every year on New Year's Eve, I come up with a new mantra. Because the mantra that I had last year, that doesn't feel like it's the right mantra for me this year. Because I'm growing. And as you continue to do this, you're going to be growing. And so don't feel like the mantra that you come up with today is the mantra that always has to be your mantra. Listen to that voice. And the more you connect with yourself and your thoughts and what's going on up here, you'll know when it feels like it's time to have a new mantra. But I love doing it New Year's Eve. That's kind of my thing. So I always come up with a new mantra then. Another little thing I want to say about the journal. It doesn't have to be fancy. It doesn't have to be some expensive journal that has a beautiful cover. It's not about that. Heck, get some paper, staple it together, and carry it around in your purse. It doesn't matter. Nobody's going to see this but you. So your handwriting doesn't have to be perfect. It's not about perfection. There is no judgment going on when we talk about writing in the journal, okay? So please consider getting yourselves a journal. Please consider writing in it every single day and really taking the time to find 3 things that you feel grateful for in that space. Number 3, meditation. How many people in this room have a daily meditation practice? Okay, amazing. And the people that have the practice, don't you feel like it makes a difference? Yes. Can you share with us, if you're comfortable, what do you like about your meditation practice? Yep, it's coming. I put you on the spot, so if you're not comfortable, it's okay.
Okay, no, I will. How many questions do you have?
Tell us about your daily meditation practice.
From the time I get up or I was going to ask?
Okay, I do my meditation twice a day.
Okay.
In the morning, I say, thank you, Lord. I'm awake. Thank you, thank you, thank you. 3 of them. And at night, I have a ritual that I, go get ready for bed. I wash my face and all that stuff, and then I go into, I actually have it on my phone. I'm sure all of you do have it. The meditation, either if I'm really exhausted, then I have somebody.
Like a guided meditation.
Yes, guided meditation. And then, of course, I say my prayers and turn off the light if it's not off by then, and I go to sleep.
Thank you for sharing that. That is a beautiful practice. When you learn to meditate, and it's called the practice of meditation, because it's not easy. It's not easy, and I would bet there are days that you maybe show up and your mind might not be focusing on your breathing. Your mind might be, thinking about all the other stuff. I have a scan. Oh no. I have blah, blah, blah. Oh no. And that's when we're recognizing it and we're replacing it with our mantra, and then we're focusing on our breathing. Deep breathing. We're taking in positive energy and we're letting go of all of that other stuff. It's called the practice of meditation. Even people who have been meditating for years still practice it because they're constantly learning and they're evolving and they're growing with their meditation practice. Consider starting a meditation practice. Consider going online. I have a beautiful app that's on my phone. It's free. It's called Insight Timer. And write that down, Insight Timer. And it's free. It has guided meditations for the morning, for the evening, for maybe if you have anxiety or you can't sleep or whatever you're feeling in that moment. You'll know when you go online. When you look at the options, you'll know what you need in that moment. It'll speak to you. I encourage you to consider starting with a 1 or 2 3-minute practice. But again, practice. That's why it's called the meditation practice. If you don't stick with it, guess what? It's not going to work. And again, that goes back to you've got to do the work. You've got to make the commitment and put the time in. But all of these tools that I'm teaching you that we're talking about now, most of them you can take with you wherever you go. And most of them are pretty inexpensive or even free, but they work. They are powerful tools. And I am here to tell you that all of these tools that I'm sharing with you got me from that place of, I don't know how to live for the rest of my life, to, oh my gosh, I'm going to thrive and I'm going to make the most out of every day of the rest of my life. And it will work for you. Number 4, healthy eating. Okay, so we just spent a lot of time talking about healthy eating, and I'm not going to go into a whole lot about that, except for I'm going to say the following things. It matters. What you put in your body matters. It matters a lot. I just wrote something that is on my blog, Crazy Perfect Life, and I just sent this last week to my subscribers, and it's called Healthy Eating Made Easy, and it's Dara's Healthy Eating Guide. So please go online and get that, because it tells you exactly what I do every single day, exactly what I eat. It has tons of little tips and even shows you, there's a link that'll show you what a serving size looks like. And it'll even tell you the foods that you need to eat that are very important to eat organically, because not every food really needs to be purchased in an organic manner. But what we eat really matters. And so I try to eat as cleanly as possible. I try to eat real food. I try to eat 10 servings of fruits and vegetables every single day. I think vegetables are incredibly important. I have a green drink every single day. It's either in the form of a pressed juice that I get at a local juice place. I'm not going to be home juicing all of my juices. That's just not going to happen. Access to all of these things. I encourage you to consider how you're eating and figure out a way to incorporate real food in your diet. eating less processed food and more real food. Again, I know we just had a whole thing on that, so I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on it. But please go and read that article. It really is kind of, this is what I eat for breakfast, and this is some snack options, and this is what I have for lunch every day, which every single day for lunch I have a huge, big salad with as many fruits and vegetables as I can put on it, and a whole grain, and some beans. I do eat meat, but it's got to be organic or grass-fed. Just check it out. I'm not going to spend any more time on that. Exercise. Guess what? Research is on my side again here. Exercise, even just 30 minutes of daily moderate exercise can reduce the risk of having a reoccurrence significantly. How many people in this room exercise every day? Please be honest. So awesome. How many people in here don't do any exercise? Okay, thank you for being awesome. Thank you for being honest. When we take the time to exercise and get our body moving, a lot of things happen. Not only are we helping our bodies because we're burning calories and we are, it's really good for all of the systems that are in our bodies, but we're also mentally helping ourselves. We're getting rid of that stress. We're reducing some of those feelings that maybe the worry that we're carrying around. Exercise doesn't have to be this whole complicated, expensive thing. You've got 2 feet, you can go outside and you can walk every day for 30 minutes. Moderate exercise. Of course, if you're going to start an exercise plan, always talk to your doctor first. My husband's an attorney. But definitely, I encourage you, find something that speaks to you. I used to run on a treadmill all the time before cancer. I used to run all the time on a treadmill. Guess what? I hated it. I hated running on a treadmill. But back in the way I was BC before cancer, I would think, you know what? I've got to do my exercise every single day, and so I want to make sure that I'm running 3 to 5 miles, or I needed to do P90X because I wanted to, get in that space of making it as intense as it needed to be. That did not need to happen. I am not like that anymore. I love walking outside. I love being in nature. I love going to doing my own yoga at home. Figure out an exercise plan or figure out some different things that excite you. You know what? If you've got a couple friends in here, come up with a walking club. Figure out when you're going to walk together. It's really fun to walk with friends because you're doing 2 things. One is you're helping your body, and at the same time, you're connecting to your sisters, and you're sharing, and oh, it's so delicious when that happens. So commit to some kind of an exercise. I highly encourage you to do that. Number 6, a nighttime care ritual. Okay, how many of you have ever said, okay, it's 10:30, I really need to go to sleep, I'm tired, I'm just going to go get in bed. You quickly wash your face, you put on your jammies, and you get into bed, and then you just lay there. You can't fall asleep. Does that happen to any of you? Okay. Does that happen a lot? Okay. Our minds tend to do something when we're in bed, right? They tend to go to the dark side. That's really when you need to recognize and replace, by the way. But when you have a nighttime self-care ritual, guess what? You start to prepare your mind and your body for falling asleep. And sleep is really important. Sleep matters. And so this is what I do every night before I go to bed. I take a hot bath every single night. When I'm traveling, I take a hot shower. I put eucalyptus oil. I traveled with eucalyptus oil, and I put it in my shower so when the lady comes to clean my room, she's going to walk in the bathroom and think, this smells so delicious, because it does. That is something that really makes me happy. Lavender is another one that's relaxing and soothing. Every night when I'm at home, I take a hot bath with Epsom salts. there are a lot of significant health benefits to Epsom salts, and I put some of those nice smelling oils in my bath. I get out of the bathtub, and I do my whole face, blah, 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 brush my teeth, and then I meditate. Every single night, I meditate. Sometimes I meditate with my teenage daughters, if I'm really lucky, but they're 18 and 15, and they don't think I'm very cool. So we don't always do that, but they're starting to do it. But I meditate, even if it's just for 5 minutes, because I want my mind to slow down. I want to connect with my breathing. I want to put myself in that space where I feel relaxed. I can't just go get in bed. I can't just flip off my day with a switch. I have to prepare myself to relax, to take in the sleep that every single one of you deserves to have. And so I encourage you to have a nighttime ritual. Sometimes I have a hot cup of tea. I am a huge believer in the positive grounding effects of tea. Research shows that when you have a hot drink, it actually does feel comfy and cozy, and it grounds you. So green tea especially is very good for you. I will tell you that there are some breast cancer drugs that green tea actually counteracts. So you might want to talk to your pharmacist or your doctor before you really start to drink green tea. I actually drink probably 5 to 6 cups of green tea every single day. And research shows, there's a book called Cancer Hates Tea, written by a good friend of mine, and it shows you how powerful green tea is when it can get in the way of some of the drugs. I mean, that just shows you how powerful it is. So make sure you have that conversation. But I have a warm drink. Sometimes I'll just turn to my journal again. I'll get in bed and I'll write a little bit, and I'll always end it with my mantra. And then maybe I'll read, usually just for a few minutes, and then my iPad usually slams into my face because I fall asleep so easily that, it wakes me up. But I encourage you to do this. Don't just walk into your room, wash your face, put yourself in bed. Nurture yourself. You deserve it. You deserve to put yourself first. All of these different self-care practices that I've told you, they work. They really work. You have to commit to doing them. Do them a lot. Not just, here and there. Commit. And so what we're going to do now, let me check my time. We are going to take just a couple minutes, get with your partner, and I want you to own 1 or 2 practices that you are going to commit to doing starting on tomorrow, Sunday, okay? So get with your partner, look at the list, because the list is on that sheet, and own what you're going to do.
I bought a gratitude journal about 2 years ago. Go ahead. I got like just some that I
Do that. Yeah. It's a big deal.
No, it's not real.
What are your 2 things?
And if I'm a good girl and I exercise, my treat is a sauna. So that's been better.
I noticed that one night when I was like,
Yeah.
oh man,
Wow. Yeah. Healthy eating I've been doing better at. Exercise I've been doing better at. Meditation, I'll do that one. Because I did start it with an app. But I'll do that.
Just another few seconds, and then we're going to need to move on.
Well, 4 out of 7 days.
in tonight. Who would like to share with us the 2 things that they are committed to doing? Who would like to share with us what they're going to do? Okay?
I plan to write a gratitude journal, 3 things at least, and also to start getting ready for the out of town. So by 10:30 I can be ready.
I love that. That is amazing, and I want to hear how it goes for you. That's amazing. Who else wants to share? Guys, why are you being shy now?
I have committed to a gratitude journal and nighttime self-care. And could I just say gratitude journal? There's a thing on from, see my brain, is it still chemo brain? It's called The Gratitude, and it's a 30-day thing where you can go on these different subjects. It's fabulous. So go on and look.
Is that an app?
It's from The Secret. That's what it is, it just came to me. That's what it is.
That sounds amazing, and I'm
That's awesome.
so proud of you for committing to that. We have time for one more person. Who wants to share? Okay. Okay, we'll do you right after we do her.
Oh, I'm sorry, now you're not.
No. Oh, no, we're going to do it.
Okay, so I'm committing to a nighttime care ritual. We were talking about the fact that half the time I go to bed and don't even wash my face, or sometimes not brush my teeth because I'm like,
You're just
going
so
to
tired.
bed.
Yeah.
And so even just doing, and when I do that, and I put on the eye cream and I put on the stuff, like my face feels better in the morning. So those are just like take care of yourself things too. So obviously it's not that important to me to, and I know it's good for me and it makes me feel good, but so I'm going to figure out how to get, and get with whatever my mantra is. I like that.
Very good. I'm so proud of you. All right, we've got one more over here, and then we're gonna quickly move on. Thank you for sharing.
So, I'm going to be working on meditation. Oddly enough, I don't know why I'm finding it. I've tried to learn in many ways to do this, but as I've been praying about what I need to do personally to really make, like, what's the big needle mover for me right now? Because actually I do all of these things, not always really consistent. So consistency. But finding the right meditative thing for me, I do a variety of things. But as I pray about it, and I journal what I pray about and what the inspiration comes to me, so I can go back and look at what God has been communicating to me, because we forget so easily. But that keeps popping up all the time. So meditation is it must be super, super powerful. And I'm missing out. So I'm going to do
Thank you
that.
for sharing that. All of you are so awesome for committing to do 2 things.
Can I just say one thing?
You can say one thing.
I was talking to the Food and Drug Administration people,
Yes.
and they have a program called.
Okay, I was talking with one of the vendors, the Food and Drug Administration people that were here, and they have a program. I kind of researched them before they came, and it's called Take the Time to Care. And I was asking her about it, and she's like, for women, it didn't go over very well because women aren't good at doing that. They aren't good at taking the time to care for themselves. So they actually did research, and they've come up with take the time to care for yourself so you can care for those you love.
I love that.
So it's
100%.
important to understand that it's not just us we're doing it for. We are doing it for us, but it's for those that we love.
I 100% agree with you. Thank you for saying that. Because you can't thrive, you can't live your best life if you aren't showing up to the world as your best self. And how do you become your best self? You do a lot of self-care. You nurture yourself. You put yourself first. I promise you it matters. I promise you it makes a difference. My book, Crush Cancer, I have some with me here. My flight is like in an hour, so if you would like for me to sign one for you, I would love to. Meet me back there at that table, and I will answer any questions for you. I also want to say this. I recently started a private group on Facebook. It's called Crush Cancer. So everyone who's on Facebook, find Crush Cancer, and my name, Dara Kurtz. Find Crush Cancer, because I do weekly Facebook Lives in that group. It's totally free, but it's private, meaning you just have to send me that you want to be put in that, and I'll totally put you in there. I do weekly Facebook Lives in that group. Any questions you have about this, you can put a question in there and I will see it. I don't want to just be standing here today talking to you about all this and then walk out that door and never see you again. So I want to be there for you to answer any questions you have. So if you need anything, if you have any questions, it's a beautiful community. You can also follow me on Facebook at Crazy Perfect Life. That's my huge page that isn't just dedicated to cancer. And then subscribe to my blog at crazyperfectlife.com. Every Wednesday, you will get an email in your box for free, and it's just things like my healthy eating plan, or how to be resilient, or what to do with fear. It's just inspiration. It's things that I needed to hear that I think will help you as you're on the journey to thriving. Remember, you deserve to let yourself thrive. You don't want to just survive. You want to live your life, and you really owe it to yourself to thrive. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you.